Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
I'm underwhelmed. No doubt about it. I am underwhelmed with what the Philadelphia Flyers have given us through the first 3 games of an actual playoff series. I won't discredit them, though. They won the hockey game. They won 1-0, and they are up 2-1 in the series. They've yet to play a fantastic game, and they're up 2-1 in the series. There's your positive. They blocked 24 shots. There's your positive. They found a way to battle adversity. They lost game 2 5-0, got their asses kicked, and they bounced back and win. There's a positive. The physicality was totally upgraded. The Flyers were the more aggressive team when it came to the physical part of the game. They were throwing hits left and right. There's a positive. Plenty of negatives, though. Carter Hart. Okay, there's a positive. He was magnificent. And I think I should have a sound drop of saying Carter Hart was sensational, because I can pretty much start every single post-game podcast with that statement. Wow, that's the difference in a good team in the playoffs. Having a goaltender. When you don't have the goaltender, you're not really so much of a good team. Look at what's happening with the St. Louis Blues and think about what this team would have been in this game without Carter Hart. And I know a lot of people are thinking about all the posts that were hit. Sure, there were a couple crossbars that were hit, and there were some posts that were hit in this game. More than normal, for sure. I will argue that some of those were the outside part of the posts that weren't really a chance to go in anyway, but there were some good looks, fine. Didn't go in. I don't care. Carter Hart had a shutout. He's awesome to watch. He's so calm. How many times was there a breakdown and he was in the right position, where you weren't even nervous, where he wasn't diving for the loose puck or throwing his glove out there and making this insane, miraculous save? He didn't have to do that because he was in position. Now I'm bummed that the Flyers had some turnovers. Scott Lawton throwing pucks up the middle a couple times, and mistakes made by defensemen and mistakes made by forwards, which allowed the Habs to have a couple odd man rushes where he came up big. I'm pissed off with that, but he came up big, and he looked so comfortable in between the net. I think it's interesting what Jakub Voracek said after the game. He's not even understanding properly how much pressure there is when it comes to being a goaltender in Philadelphia. Carter Hart is not even close to properly understanding what we've been through with the Philadelphia Flyers. He's saying that in a positive thing, as if he's so cool, calm, and collective in the net. The pressure, what pressure? Essentially, what pressure? And it's fun to watch him play. This power play, don't even get me started, although I just got myself started. In what universe are you 0 for 6? In what universe do you have 2 power play opportunities in the third period and you can't get any shots on net? You're up 1-0 in a playoff game and you have 2 power plays in the third period. No shots? That's almost impossible. And if you date back to the earlier period, they had a power play and they didn't get any shots on that one. So 3 straight power plays without a shot? It's mind-blowing. And Alain Vigneault is going to have to go back to the office and draw something new up because it's not working. That pisses me off. You can't be that horrible. It's worse than the Phillies bullpen. It's that horrible. 1 for 25 since they've been here. How are you going to win? How are you going to be able to compete? I claimed from the jump, once we saw their power play suck in the round robin, I said it's going to come back to bite them. It's going to be the reason why they lose hockey games. As you get deeper in the postseason, you might get away with it in this series because the Habs, while they are competing at a high level and they are making you work and they are making you earn it and they really are playing well. The Habs are in this series without a doubt. They're playing with the intensity. They're pushing the pace at certain points and they are controlling the game at times. Yes. But you might be able to get away with it in this series. You won't later. I promise you won't later. Something needs to change. The zone entry is abysmal. How are we doing the same nonsense trying to get into the zone? If they can't carry it, they dump it. If they dump it, they're getting it right into Carey Price's wheelhouse where he's able to move the puck. Stop putting it where Carey Price wants it. Stop putting it behind the net where Carey Price can come out and move the puck to his defenseman or just move it out himself. Start putting it in the corner. And that's not just power play stuff. That's 5-on-5 stuff. Stop letting him touch the puck. The Flyers succeed when their forecheck is rolling and buzzing. Start putting the puck in the corner where the defenseman has to go get it, where it's a tougher position for him to make the next move. Whether he tries to go D to D or he goes up the wall, you can establish the forecheck, get in hard on him, and then you can kind of cut off the wall and cut off behind the net, and from there be able to execute. Don't let Carey Price even get the chance to get his stick on the puck. It's ridiculous. Now, this episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. There's no risk and no need for investment. With a solar energy system, you can even increase the value of your home by an average of 4.1%. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So make sure you check out their information. It's in the description. So Alain Vigneault takes Shayne Gostisbehere out. He puts Robert Hagg in. Great move by him. Didn't like what Ghost provided. The only thing he does in theory is provide a little bit more offense. But with this power play, it's so bad. And he had an opportunity to work on that power play with this team, and he didn't succeed. So if he's not going to be producing power play goals for this team, I don't see a reason why he should be in the lineup. I like what Robert Hagg brings defensively. He blocks shots. He hits harder. And not only that, I think Justin Braun plays a better game with Hagg than he does Gostisbehere. Braun plays more comfortable out there with Hagg, and I think you got to keep those two together. And Joel Farabee out, Michael Raffl in. I was interested to see that. And I thought maybe Nate Thompson could go out, and you can slide Raffl in to keep Joel Farabee in the lineup as well, but it was obvious that Alain Vigneault wanted to go with a more intense lineup, with a more experienced lineup and a heavier hitting lineup, so he took Joel Farabee out, and look, it worked. I noticed Nate Thompson out there a couple times. It worked, so who am I to judge? Alain Vigneault pulled the right cards when it came to the roster, when it came to the lineup. I was surprised to see Joel Farabee out. Wasn't surprised with Ghost, but I was definitely surprised with Joel Farabee being out because he did score that goal in the first game. And he did create some energy, and he is fast, and he brings that speed. They went with a different direction. Now, Raffl actually played a shift with the second line there because Scott Laughton made mistakes. It was a pretty tough one for Scott Laughton. I did notice him on the PK at one point, and he was working in certain areas, but you can't be turning the puck over in the high slot like that multiple times. He definitely owes Carter Hart some sort of Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light, Cranberry Vodka, White Claw, Truly, you name it. Captain and Coke, a couple of them after that. Carter Hart was big in many moments. Here's something that bothered me all night long. So the Flyers score about 5 minutes into the hockey game. Offensive zone draw. Puck goes to Robert Hagg. Goes to Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux throws a puck on Carey Price, right? And it hits off Jakub Voracek, who was net front, and it went into the net. So the Flyers just took a random shot from outside the dots, and it went in. You're going to have to pepper somebody like Carey Price. It was Carey Price's birthday, by the way. I thought that was a little scary going into the game because you know that he's an elite goaltender, and maybe on his birthday he would be A+++, which you can argue allowing one goal is a very fine game for Carey Price, but when you don't score on the other end, it doesn't get the job done. But going back to my point of throwing the puck on net, you saw it already work in the game, right? You witnessed it. You scored the only goal doing that. And they finished with only 20 shots on net. And when there was about 14 minutes or so left in the game, they had 15 shots. You saw how the first goal went in. And that, by the way, was with a couple power play opportunities too. How do you not have more shots on net? I thought that they were passive at times on the power play, trying to work it out and be too cute. At this point, too cute ain't working, fellas. And I think Alain Vigneault has to really switch something up. Here's something to notice. JVR played the least amount of minutes as a forward. What's up with JVR and AV? Does AV not like him at all? You could throw him maybe on that first power play unit to switch something up. You need to switch something up when it comes to this power play. There is no way, and I mean no way in hell. It's a fireable offense. I even tweeted this out, somewhat kidding, some way not kidding, that I would put out Tyler Pitlick, Nate Thompson, and Derek Grant out on a power play just because. Just to send a message to the power play units. And also, how much worse could it have been? There's no way it would have been any worse. It could only have been better. Throw them out there. See what could happen. That's what you're going to have to do if you're Alain Vigneault. You're going to have to try a totally new unit and let them go out there and just see what happens. Throw pucks on net. Get in front of Carey Price's face. Sit in front of the blue paint. Take away his eyes. Try and tip a couple shots. Even in earlier games in this series, there were times where they did get shots from the point, but here's your two forwards. Away from Carey Price, on the side of Carey Price, trying to get a tip or a rebound. How's that going to work? If Carey Price is going to see the puck, there's no way it's going in. You got to take away his eyes. So there is a lot that they need to do on this power play, and it really is concerning. Ugly is an understatement. Seriously. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. To the point where I just said I would rather have out the fourth line grind. And I mean it. I'm not even joking. I mean it. I don't know what they're going to do. 24 block shots is a lot, by the way. 24 block shots, 23 saves by Carter Hart. So there are some minor things to take away from this game when it comes to some positives, as I stated from the jump. You can't discredit this D-core for doing certain things and keeping true to the system when it was a 1-0 game, when the Canadiens pushed through and really had their way and had some opportunities. The things that bother me, though, is some turnovers, allowing them to have some 2-on-1 chances, odd man rushes in their favor, getting some good looks where there shouldn't have been good looks in play. The Flyers needed to be smarter on the puck. Now, this game was better than Game 2. That's not breaking news. Better than Game 2, and you saw that from the jump. While the Canadiens did have some rushes, the Flyers had some rushes, and they were getting some offensive zone time, and they were able to actually get a rush and create some sort of space in the offensive zone 5-on-5 throughout the beginning part of this game, and you saw flow within the game. But there was a time where the Canadiens pushed forward and really did become more of a team that had possession of the puck and had better chances. The Flyers played on their heels. Is that the nature of the beast in playoff hockey? When a team is down 1-0 and there's 10 minutes left in the third period or so, or there's a handful of minutes left, is it standard that team's going to have push and the one squad is going to have to find a way to kill off the clock to get the puck out of the zone? Is that the nature of the beast? I think at times it is. But it was too much for my liking. Too many mistakes that we're not used to seeing. It's like the team is playing out of character right now, and I hate it. I can't stand it. You have to credit the Montreal Canadiens for forcing the Flyers to play that way, forcing them to be uncomfortable, but I expect more. I called out the top dogs. While they did get on the score sheet, I want more out of Claude Giroux. He wasn't noticeable enough for me. He did take the shot on the wall. Fine. I want more. I expect more out of him because I know he's a better player. Voracek stood out to me at times. I thought Sean Couturier played a good two-way game, and he stood out to me at times. I want more out of Claude Giroux. I want more out of that second line. I want way more out of Travis Konechny. He took a stupid cross-checking penalty while they were in the offensive zone, and there was a puck in the blue paint. You took a power play in the O zone like that? Bad. I want more out of Hazy. I do. That second line, I know it's better than what it's been playing. Start showing me. Start executing. Start being better. This next game is huge for the Flyers. 3-1 and 2-2. Big time difference. Now, Claude Julien, we know, is no longer with the Canadiens right now due to the heart issue. Still praying for him. There was a big spark for Game 2 because of that with the Canadiens. Like, your head coach isn't there anymore. You want to play for him. I think there was some spark with the Flyers in this one due to the Oscar Lindblom news. Seeing him skate there on the ice. Him being around the team. Big energy change. Big jolt. So you saw the Canadiens take advantage of their jolt in Game 2. Flyers seemed to take care of business with their jolt in Game 3, even though it wasn't the prettiest thing in the world. Now we have some phone calls to take. You left your reactions to the 24/7 anytime hotline. The phone number is 856-442-9805. You can utilize this phone number whenever, after games, and we can use them on the podcast and react to your phone calls. First, though, support for Sports Talk with Broads is brought to you by Manscaped, who is best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. There is nothing worse than accidentally cutting yourself down low when you're making sure you are all clean for your date. You're going out on a date. You're hanging out with your significant other. You want to make sure you're fresh down there. Get the Lawnmower 3.0. Because of Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology, you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes. There's LED lights to make sure you don't miss any spots. Not only that, a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. Trim that junk of yours. Your balls will thank you. I'm telling you, this is the greatest item I have ever used, the Lawnmower 3.0. If you order the Lawnmower 3.0 at manscaped.com, you get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code BROD. Let's kick off these phone calls.
Well, I mean, it was an ugly win, but I mean, hell of a lot better than an ugly loss like last time. Carter Hart, what more is there to say about him? I mean, he's our Lord and Savior at this point. And I really feel like the Flyers could play better, but at this point, after Game 2, I really don't care. Just as long as they get the win. Just 2 more, let's go Flyers, baby. Anytime, anywhere.
Oh, look at that. He threw the hashtag in there. I feel like I really didn't give Carter Hart enough credit. When you were speaking about Carter Hart, I'm dating back in my head throughout the, 15, 16 minutes I ran in to start this podcast off. Did I give Carter Hart enough credit? I mean, I was pissed off with the power play. I was pissed off with the zone entry. I'm pissed off with not getting shots. I'm pissed off with some turnovers. I gotta praise Carter Hart more. And I'm never gonna not praise Carter Hart. It's gonna be a fun 20 years to praise Carter Hart, but he deserves it in this one. But I really do say this a lot, but I think it's so true. Nothing was insanely so crazy at a Carter Hart to the point where you fell to your knees in awe. But that's what type of goaltender we have right now. 23 saves, and it was a perfect 23 saves in position. Playing the 2-on-1s perfectly. Coming out and taking away angles perfectly. And that's why you see some posts. Because when the goaltender takes away certain spots, there's only a little bit to shoot at. And when those players who are hell of offensive players who know what to do with the puck, when they only have that little bit of space, sure, they hit that little bit of space, but when that little bit of space is the pipe, that's when you see a lot of posts. Now, there were a couple where it went crossbar and it could have went bar down, but instead it went bar out and things of that nature. I'm not saying that it was all Carter Hart's genius, beautiful angles was why they hit the post. But that does play a role. And with Carter Hart's domination and with his ability to be so smart, it's like his hockey IQ is on another level. When you look at the best goaltenders to ever do it, he is doing the same thing. Let's use Carey Price as the example. Carter Hart looks exactly like Carey Price out there. Carey Price does more with the puck. We saw that. And when Carter Hart played the puck, it went over the glass and it was a penalty. And the Flyers called off a couple penalties. Thank the Lord. Now, the Montreal Canadiens, they don't have some powerful power play. So is it credit to the PK or is it, hey, their power play is just as awful as the Flyers? You can find that out yourself. You can figure that out yourself, however you see it. I think it's a little bit of both. But my point is, when you see Carter Hart in net, he looks just as determined, focused, and perfect as the best in the league. And it's almost like I haven't processed it yet, that he's real, that he's a human being that wears a Flyers logo. Brizgalov, Bobrovsky trade, Roman Czechmanek, Steve Mason, the list goes on and on throughout how many years now. It's incredible to see what the kid does in between the pipes. You never know how stellar it's going to be. Is it just going to be stellar, or is it going to be elite stellar? Or is it going to be elite stellar insane ew? I'll tell you what was ew for the negative. That power play by the Flyers. Ew, that was gross. A bad gross. Oh.
Hey, Rhodes. I thought the Flyers played a lot better tonight, obviously, than they did in Game 2 and in Game 1 as well. They were a lot more physical than they were in Game 2, and I think that's just them bouncing back from getting absolutely obliterated by the Canadiens in Game 2. I think it was the right choice, taking out Joel Farabee and Gostisbehere and bringing in Michael Raffl and Robert Hagg. They played a lot better. Ghost was mostly in for the power play, and he just wasn't performing. Glad to see the Flyers on top. Hopefully they can keep this going.
Yeah, the thing with the lineup change, it worked. So I have to credit Alain Vigneault. Absolutely. It did work, and he wanted to go with more of a, hey, screw you, we're going to come out and be physical. And with that mindset, I thought he put the proper lineup together. I didn't think Joel Farabee deserved to leave the lineup, and I'm sure he told Joel Farabee, like, hey, it's not because you played bad. Well, everyone played bad in Game 2, so if that was the case, everyone should have been out of the lineup for Game 3. So in Game 1, it's not like he played bad. It's just, hey, they want to go with a different mindset and be a little bit more physical. I thought before the game, hey, maybe you take Nate Thompson out and you put Michael Raffl in that situation, and maybe you can move around those bottom six forwards any way you'd like, but keep Joel Farabee up top because he did produce a big goal for the Flyers in Game 1, but I mean, I wasn't against it to the point where I'm questioning Alain Vigneault. What the hell are you doing? This is going to be a nightmare. I didn't go to that extreme because one of the reasons why this team is so successful is because you can plug and play. And I wonder what type of adjustments are coming by the Canadiens and what you would see from the Flyers to keep things going. I think the biggest adjustment, though, has to be that awful power play.
So is it humanly possible to feel bad after a win? This is one of the weirdest games I've seen where you get a win, but you're not happy with it. I mean, Carter Hart stole this one. He should have wore a mask because it was a regular mask because it was highway robbery. I mean, the only thing I'll give this team was that they came out more physical, which I wanted them to do. Other than that, yet another anemic performance. Nothing on the power play, nothing created offensively. I mean, you know, you may get away with that against a 12 seed. Maybe the Flyers will luck out and win this series, but the play has to improve. And maybe we got to start looking to Alain Vigneault. I mean, what's going on here? This team is flatter than a tire with a nail in it. I just, you know, don't really know what else to say.
That's interesting. Bringing up AV. Hey, AV, what are you doing in there? Are you not inspiring the team? And that's interesting because my stand on pro sports, look, a coach has a role. The coach is there for a reason. They have minimal impact, but they do have an impact. To me, though, I know the environment's weird. No fans in the building for playoff hockey, but I feel like it's on the players. You got to find a way to generate your own juice. You got to find a way to get yourself motivated to play. You need to find a way. And while I don't think the Flyers are playing well at all through the first three games, they are up 2-1. And I will say, I think the Habs are playing so well for them that they're forcing the Flyers to play this bad. Like, I get the Flyers are playing bad, but I want to credit the Montreal Canadiens for forcing them to play this way. Now, that doesn't make me feel good because if I'm a Flyers fan like I am, I'm going, yo, come on. If the Habs are creating this type of confusion for you, if they're taking away this much time and space, are you a serious contender? Can you actually win in the next round? If the Canadiens are doing this to you, how can you go up against another team? How can you go up against another powerful squad that's more powerful than the Canadiens? So it bothers me a bit. But I go back to the players. You need to generate it yourself. Sure, Alain Vigneault can do something to spark the team, but he can only do so much. At some point, these players are out there playing. Scott Laughton throwing a pizza delivery up the middle, that's on him. The defenseman turning the puck over at times, that's on them. He can only do so much. So I get where you're coming from. They are coming out flat. But come on, guys. You're out on the ice. This power play, like, you're out on the ice. Claude Giroux, your experience is hell in this league. Do something better. Be better. The fact that these top dogs aren't being the ones that are responding, even though they got the goal, I'm still not pumped up with Claude Giroux, TK, Hayes, Laughton. Like, I'm not thrilled with them. I could live with Voracek and Coots in this game, but I'm not thrilled with the top six as a whole. These are your veteran guys. You got to rely on these players. When you look at the Boston Bruins, let's use them as an example. Bruce Cassidy. Is he getting Brad Marchand and Pastrnak and Bergeron all fired up? Or do they naturally go do it? Does Kucherov need some firing up? To some extent, go out and do it, guys. Ready.
Rhodes, Ryan from Tampa. It's all right because we're saved by the post. I mean, I know this is an American Idol, but hey, but anyway, Carter Hart got saved by the post, but I'll tell you what, many of times, but he came up huge. Carter Hart, you are the man. Now for the positive. Voracek showed up tonight. He got in front of the net, and look what happened. He got in front of Price, goal. The other thing is we were very physical, more physical than we've ever been this series. Now, again, we strive to push this team to play better. They have to convert on power plays. 1 for 25 is just unacceptable. They're going to have to look at the tape, maybe switch up a couple guys in a few areas, and they just have to, when they have the chance, they're just too indecisive right now. They got to swing the puck and just make things happen. A W is a W. Tuesday's so critical. If Tuesday we don't win for some reason, this is going to be a 6 or 7 game series. Let's get to Tuesday, get that victory, one step closer closing out this series. See you, bud.
Great call. Phenomenal call. You hit on a lot of great points. And I think it's interesting that a lot of people really did notice the physicality. And this Canadiens team, young, fast. They do have some bigger guys on the back end, but young, fast. And for this Flyer squad, they don't have these insanely huge, big, hard hitters. So with that being said, with what they had, they did bring it, and they did go in with the game plan of being more of a hard-hitting team, and it did work. To an extent, it did work. They were more physical. They didn't produce as much as we wanted to offensively, but with the mindset of, hey, let's be the squad that takes away time and space for them. Let's hit them. Let's make sure when they have the puck, they double-guess themselves because they know a body is flying. Well, they did execute that part. If they were able to cash in on some power plays, maybe we feel totally different about this game because it could have been 3-1. I'm sorry, 3-1. 3-0. Could have been 3-0. Could have been 4-0. Could have been 2-0 with those power plays. You have to put away teams. And it's really disappointing with all those chances and with how ugly it looked. If they were setting the puck up, moving the puck around, getting good one-timers, getting super close, having great A-scoring chances, but Carey Price came up big or they missed the net or whatever, then we feel differently. But it was to the point where I wanted to throw up. I wanted to throw my remote through my television. I'd be real disappointed if I did that and had all the cracked screen and whatnot. But that's how I felt. It can't be that way moving forward. It literally can't. You can't win legit playoff series and continue to ride through the postseason if you don't win special teams. Won't happen. Has to change. So what are the next steps? What are the next moves? Very good question, Broach. Why, thank you, Broach. Thank you all so much for listening. Flyers are up 2-1. There are some positives, even though I know it's hard to dig deep in there. There are some positives, but I think there's some more negatives. It's crazy, isn't it? Flyers hockey at the edge of your seat. 1 minute left. You're at the edge of your seat. Your heart's beating. Your heart's pumping. You can't handle it. Your hand's shaking. You got a Gatorade in your hand or a glass of water, maybe a late cup of coffee, and your hand's shaking. You can't even picture anything happening because your emotions are running so high. You're getting nervous. It's back. Flyers playoff hockey, it's back. It's been so long. It's a love-hate relationship, though. I'm not going to lie. A little bit of love, a little bit of hate. I don't like the feeling I get, the anxiety of walking around, pacing around during the commercial breaks and throughout the intermissions, having to flip to something else to keep my mind off the hockey. Heart's beating so fast, gut feels funny, it's twisting and twirling in there. Oh, I can't stand it, but I love it at the same time. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.